have Professor Dr. 𝐬𝐞𝐜𝐫𝐸𝐾𝐜 with us. With the warmest welcome. I'm honored to present a brief introduction about our esteemed guest speaker, Professor Dr. 𝐬𝐞𝐜𝐫𝐸𝐾𝐜 sir. Dr. Singh is an assistant professor of clinical psychology, Department of Psychiatry, PGI Chandigarh. Dr. Singh is involved in clinical teaching and research activities and supervision and management of different psychological interventions. Interest areas for Dr. Singh are understanding of the libidinal manifestation of psychopathology, understanding of neurotheology, spirituality, and Vedantic philosophy. Recently, Dr. Singh is involved in the application of Vedantic knowledge to manage day-to-day psychological problems. He has a lot of publication in reputed journals and conference proceedings. Topic of his talk for today on the secret of a happy relationship, a balance between personal and professional life. It's an extremely relevant topic in the current times when we all are living in a world full of anxiety and stress in work and personal life, right? So without any further delay, I would like to invite Professor Singh to the stage to deliver us the talk.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this platform and sharing my brief introduction. I am always very much scared of my, introductions with using very heavy jargons, because these often lays responsibilities on your shoulder much heavier. So you are skeptical, you are all the time very much aware and alert that you have to justify the word which have been used to describe you. But I thank you, sir, and I give my thank you to all of you that you have gathered here and you have saved some time to discuss some of very relevant issues in today's scenario. My information and the way I deliver these information to you will determine whether you have received it to meaningfully to some extent or not. I will try to share my understanding on these issues, which I think are core of everyone's heart and mind. But before I start, let me worship the divine power which is binding us, which is creating life in us, as per the Vedantic philosophy. And there are different slokas to worship the divine power. One of very famous, very relevant is Asato ma sadgame, means that take me to the truth from falsehood. Asato ma sadgame, take me to the truthfulness from the falsehood. Tamaso ma jyotirgame, it means that take me to the light from the dark. Tamaso ma jyotirgame. This is how we worship the divine force. We need not to have some humanized way of or kind of God, but we can worship the divine. And the last line goes as Mrityorma Amrit Game. Take me to the life from the death. So this is how we worship our divine forces according to Vedantic philosophy. And let us begin now, which is very much important for all of us. Try to understand us, try to understand humans' mind, and try to understand the human relations. Because we all know on the basis of our experiences that we are disturbed largely because of typical kind of relationship perspective, relationship mechanism, and relationship net scattered around us. many times on the basis of your own experiences, you can very well remind you that you were disturbed because of relationship. It is another thing that we will try to find the cause of those disturbances. But there is one surety that relationship can be really challenging to manage. And in your age, where you are focused on your academic objectives, relationship matters a lot. Though relationship matters equally to all of us. Because let me tell you, and you can also remind you, that it is only because of relationship experiences that we are motivated or discouraged to do something and not to do something. Relationship experiences on your academic life, with your friends, with your teachers, with your parents, with your boyfriend, girlfriend, all have encouraged you or discouraged you to do specific things in your life. So many times you are also, perplexed. You are also bewildered. You are also confused to move forward, to achieve your goal, to find something which was very much charming, lightening always for you. But suddenly, you don't have that spark anymore left in you. And you can say very, effectively that somewhere nature of relation have casted a long lasting impact in our perception of us and perception of the world. So why it is, you can see that it is written that balance between personal and professional life. Very true. Very soon you will be entering into the professional life. You will be lagging behind from your academic because you would have completed your academics. So that is why, since you all are expected to complete your academics very soon, and you will be entering, and few of you would have entered into your academic journey and voyage also. So it becomes very much important to understand the dynamics of relationship, because let me tell you one thing very clearly and frankly, that the kind of understanding you are having to resolve your issue, to see the relation now, might not be that much effective once you are in professional field. And there are stories which are sufficient enough to emphasize that we have to learn the evolution. We have to learn how to evolve, because so this is how things are. And this is how you will also have to learn how to concentrate on the same thing in spite of having that sweet noise in your ears. And let me tell you this thing very frankly, that all the time you are surrounded with such kind of sweet stimulations in your life, you will have to learn how to get fixated on what is most important for you, because quite possible that such sweet voices can take you away, can get you flow. And after some time, you'll realize, oh my God, where I have landed. So you have to focus very seriously to learn the relationship skills. You will have to learn how to focus your energy on something which is very much pertinent to us. You cannot say that that sound is not sweet enough, not pleasant enough, not, impressive enough. That is very effective. Most precious sound in the world, that one. But precious and responsibilities are two different things. And this is what happens in our experiences of life, that we are swayed away, we are flowed away by our precious things rather and unknowingly ignoring the responsibilities. So let us try to understand such things in a very simpler way. Sanskrit sloka, interpreted in Hindi also or English, it goes like, यथा धेनु सहस्रेषु vatso gacchati matram, means the way a calf is successful in identifying its own biological mother in spite of surrounded by so many almost similar kind of cows. There is something inherent in that calf due to which he is able to identify its biological mother. So is true about our karma and karma, that your karma will locate you. Your karma will discover you no matter where you are. You have done something in this campus, and this impact of your karma will reach you some or the other time, good or bad. So it's true about this Sanskrit sloka. So it emphasizes the importance of karma. And you do your karma when you are in relationship with others or with yourself. There is no time when you are devoid of doing something. You are all the time doing something with you or with others. Okay, something I will focus to discuss about the philosophical background of this relationship. Because philosophical or theoretical understanding of some concept always help us to move ahead successfully, move ahead easily, move to it strengthen us to see things more clearly. Philosophical understanding helps you to see clearly the things which are around us. So it says that, and then in the meantime, let me also tell you one thing, that you are welcome to intervene in between. If you want to share something, I humbly request you, please come forward. If you want to add something, I humbly encourage you to please come forward and share what, let our ears also listen what you have in your mind. I also encourage you to please raise your questions, to ask your queries, to share your experiences. Okay, so let us this talk be a bilateral communication, not let it be a monologue. So I request you, please come forward. Okay, so it says that this line is very important for us to understand, because here lies the apple of discord. I'm in relationship issues, conflict, puzzling situations, unpleasant experiences. It says that thoughts people have and the way they think could be much more vital for understanding the relationship issues and happiness. Many times we are so heavily informed and believed that the kind of interpretation I am putting is the ultimate truth, which might not be true all the time. Do I make sense? Is this so or not? Is it always, I mean, true that what you are thinking is the ultimate truth in the world? Or there might be parallel realities about which we might not be aware? And isn't it so surprising that once we have discovered the parallel realities, we are empowered? We are more strengthened than before. So that is why I'm saying that thoughts are natural things to come in human mind. But interpretations of thoughts is uniquely designed. And it is only the interpretation of thoughts which gives us success or failure. Not success or failure in the form of materialistic aspect, but success or failure in the form of your personal satisfaction. Many times you can all remember your own experiences that when you were disturbed, if any one of you willing to share, and you cannot say that you were not disturbed, I mean, significantly in 15 days, I can bet on this that many of us would have felt really disturbed within 15 days. The reason might be different. But is it so that the interpretation you had of your event was the final truth? You will have to think twice before saying yes. But it is the scientific explanation. Various scientific papers which are produced in psychology, they say that interpretation of the people's might be different, but thought may be the one. One thought can be interpreted with n interpretations, isn't it? I think that you all can get gel with this. So always remember that our qualitative interpretation of the event will help us to find success, satisfaction, adjustment in our daily life. And this is so true, even in the form of relationship issues also. Let us move forward. What are the things which disturbs us? Just have a look on this. And now tell me, do you, find it okay? Do you have some other explanation other than this? Of course, there might be. So if there are certain other things coming in your mind, please come forward. Say something. How your truth is different from that. And truth may be different. So most of the time we are disturbed because of self. Self means I. Most of the time we are disturbed because of self and others. And we are also disturbed because of our emotional dysregulations. Because when you are in relationship with teacher, with friend, parents, boss, you are using your emotions knowingly and unknowingly. And the point where you start distracting from appropriate use of your emotions, and this happens so beautifully that you are not aware, you start feeling the pain. And quite possible, this is so, ironical, that you realizes that you are having pain quite later. So please mind it. And we are also disturbed because of the understanding of self and others. It means that understanding of self and others, what does it mean? It means that the way you see yourself, the way you see others will determine the level of happiness in you. So it is very much important to understand whether the kind of perception I am having for me and the kind of perception I'm having for others is problem solving oriented or not, growth oriented or not, progressive or not, healthy or not. And it is very, sometimes it becomes really difficult to figure it out, that the kind of interpretation I'm making of me and the kind of interpretation I'm making of you is the right one or not. Because we have this, very fallible truth and acceptance of this fact that what I'm thinking is almost right, always right. No one can come here and teach me better than what I know. And this usually happens when you are gradually moving from your academic to the professional world. In your academic journey, there are possibilities that you have this doubt, oh no, I am not God. But once you have entered into the professional life, you are adamant and you have firm belief that you are not less than God. So you don't, consider people equivalent to you anymore. And somewhere this is where the issues starts converting into the problems. And it is very surprising that most of us are not manufactured to sense the problem in us. Isn't it? Do you agree with it? You can be better. You can be a very good engineer. You can be a very good IS. You can be a very good PCS, barrister, medical professional, professor, and you can be very, I mean, a renowned cosmological researcher also. But your degrees sometimes falls apart to make you able to differentiate between truth and its aspects. So that is why I'm saying that understanding of these realities, I mean, whether I'm right, or other may also be right. Is this true or not? And this is where they start. This is where the problem starts gradually. Not able to move this slide. Okay, got it, sir. Got it. Thank you. Okay, so I am giving you one condition now. I wish that you use your mind and see, find the gap or mind the gap. Please go through with this line and tell me whatever comes in your mind. Please. What is? And take your own time. Take your own time. And if anything comes in your mind, please. And something must come in your mind. Good. Very true, sir. Very true. Self-centric. So where is this self-centric, sir? In which statement or in which? Okay. Anybody else? Yes, let us make it a bilateral communication. And let us also make this platform as to share your things with others. Because we are always benefited when we are having the information shared by others. Anyone of you want to say something on this? Why I have used these lines? Yes, बताएं. ये लाइन क्यों यूज करी मैंने? क्या है इन लाइंस में क्या है? Can you see success in these lines? Can you see disturbances in these lines? Can you see pain in these lines? Can you see relationship issues in these lines? Maybe. I think that now by this time you have understood that yes, this is really not true all the time. That I must have love. Why you must have love? But I will only be living, feeling alive if I have love. I must perform important tasks completely and perfectly. Is this the way anywhere written? In any kind of philosophy of the world? If not so, then why do I have these ideas in my mind? Since very childhood. And so situation has become so, I mean, if you allow me to say worse, that I'm equally grabbed now. I'm controlled by this belief that this Lalit Kumar Singh always must perform all the things very critically appreciating way. Not possible, but I believe in this, and there is no one who can challenge my disbelief, because I am not less than God. How can I make something error? I can't. If I don't get what I want, is terrible and I can't stand it. Yes, is this so? But were you not disturbed because of your this kind of feeling somewhere back in your mind, back in your past? How many times have we been aware with this kind of a state of mind? But let me tell you, and you can also sense it very clearly now, that these are the issues. These are the apple of discord. What is so wrong in these statements? Can you say something on this? It is simply saying that she should have accepted my proposal. What is wrong in this? I mean, can you defend it? Can you say that it is wrong? It is wrong. Is it wrong? Sir? कैसे? How is it wrong, sir? I only wish that you should have accepted. So having this wish is wrong? Yes, yes, please come on, come on. Overconfidence. So what should be the situation, or what should be the statement then? Yes, anyone of you? It means that I should not dare to expect something from her. Is it so? Dil hai bhai. Huh? I will have. But what will be the substitute? Okay, tell me. Of exit. Exactly. This is what happens, dear. We are so vigor. We are so, megalomanic in our attitude and belief system that we always go with this only one single direction. Oh, she should. Without taking this information in my mind, dear, she cannot. She may not. And you should be ready to have that other aspect. This is where it starts the problem, sir. In our academic life, we often blame our teachers. I could not succeed. I could not get that much percentage. I could not get that much, good number in my academics because of that particular teacher. Blame game is always so pleasurable. This is true on the basis of our experiences. So teacher must have given extra time to me. Why? He might not. He may not. He should not have ignored me in the party. And how many times and how many of you have been disturbed because of this? Quite possible you might not, but there have been, and there are some people, you know, your own friends, that they can easily be, hurt by only one ignorant look. So fragile they are that they cannot afford one ignorant attitude. My God, from where did I learn this? To be so fragile in nature, and surprisingly, I could not know it. So many. Line is never ending. Line is never ending. How can they do it? Why cannot they do it? They have all the right. Why did I have this thought they cannot do it? They will do it. They are doing it. But it's only few people who are feeling uncomfortable when they are doing it. So what is the way out? We'll try to learn something from science. Have you ever wondered, have you ever felt any resemblance between these molecules and humans? Can you try? I am now these days, very curious to learn from science about the human nature. And I am all the time very much thrilled, encouraged, and motivated to comment on. I'm not sure how much you will find it or how much you will be in sync with this. But yes, there are truth. There are so much homogeneity between atoms, molecules, humans, and human emotions. How? These are very basic science. You all have gone through in your, 12th or 10th periods academic. What does it say? It says that atoms, molecule, and other space can be in solid, space can be in liquid, space can be in air. And so true about human nature. Human nature also have this unique tendency to always move. Humans are by default moving animal, moving living being. And so is true about their nature. So is true about their emotions. But what is the problem then? What is the issue? The issue is that we feel problem when someone is moving against our expectations, which is again the nature of law. Atom can go anywhere. Atom can take any path. So it's true about human nature, isn't it? Yes, I am. You might have other aspects also to comment on. You might also correct me if I am not making so sense to you. But this is my basic observation is that. Yes, one more thing very important is that it is true that humans' nature, humans' emotions, and human and movement of particles have similarity, but you cannot understand this similarity with the help of your basic understanding. Basic understanding means you have to develop certain specific kind of state of mind through which you can find that inherent tendency to sync with this similarity of human nature as well as the atoms. So you need to have a different state of mind. Only then you can appreciate this similarity. So the repetition of the same thing which I have just said. Yes, I have tried to learn the basic nature of atoms and try to correlate it with the human nature and emotion. There is also a picture which I am not able to share with you, which shows the chaotic nature of atoms. Can you comment something on the chaotic nature of atoms? Means that when atoms are not regulated, they have full liberty to go in any direction, which makes no sense. And so is true about human nature also. Quite possible, and quite many times you will see that people have been found to be unexpected, unpredictable. You cannot take guarantee. For some people, quite often. This is about this vibrational. I mean, I will not describe the meaning because I believe that you are already aware about this. But this vibrational nature, this rotational nature, and this translational nature of atoms are also found in human nature and in human emotions. People can make back and forth movement, vibration, going up and down. People can translational, going one direction and the other. Humans emotion also have this inherent tendency to go in one direction and from that direction to other direction. Why I am sharing this thing with you? My intention is not really to bore you, but what I am trying to convey is that the more you are aware about basic human nature and the nature of human emotions, the more you will be empowered and informed to understand your own emotion and understand the emotions of the other. And this emotional understanding, knowledge of this emotional understanding will help you out to settle out with the realities, to settle out with the changing scenario, to settle out with the changing mood, nature, and emotions of you and others. Are you not really, bewildered on this realization, sudden realization of anyone's emotions, behaviors, actions, decisions? How could he do it? Because somewhere back in your mind, you were quite adamant and strong in your belief that person will not go against my wish. But we often fail to understand the principle of science, which says that human are unpredictable, like an atom, isn't it? And we often starts blaming us. I could not control you, I could not influence you, I could not love you, I could not change you. Is it really possible in your hand? You can predict, control, change, and influence all the time, everyone. But this is what we often think. Sometimes we are disturbed because we have this innate belief that I am the savior of the human mankind. This might not be true in your case, but you would find such people who always take the responsibility to bring change in the society, and they can even destroy their own peace of mind. Because all the time they are having this belief that I should be a cause to happiness for all. Isn't it? And they are very disturbed if they identify that due to, in spite of their absence or presence, someone was disturbed. This is what we have to understand. These physical laws are very much applicable with human nature also. So always have this information. My only purpose to bring this information in this way is to let you feel more comfortable to understand the human nature, emotions. Because very soon you will be into the professional world. Life is slightly comfortable in your academic periods, but it becomes topsy-turvy once you are in professional. Because you would be married, you would be engaged, and you would be a professional person also. So your identity will be multi-layered. So understanding of this unique studentship will be insufficient enough to help you out to manage the three-dimensional realities. You will be required to be a boyfriend or girlfriend. You will be required to be an employee. You will be required to be a other aspect, husband or another. So that is why it is important. This is the picture I wanted to share with you. This shows the unpredictable nature of human emotions largely. Many times. Often you are surprised on identifying this fact that someone very close to you committed suicide and you could not know it. Has this happened ever? Can you share something on that? Yes, please, come on. Khana bhi aa gaya hai. Let us be more vocal now. You will have much more glucose in your blood. You will have more energy. क्या कभी ऐसा हुआ है? आपके साथ कोई घूम रहा था, आपके साथ कोई बैठा था, किसी ने जोक शेयर किया था, किसी ने आपसे पूछा था आप कैसे हो, आपने किसी से पूछा था आप क्या कर रहे हो, और एक दो दिन बाद पता चला दैट पर्सन इज नो मोर. दुनिया बदल जाती है कुछ लोगों के लिए. Because we often fail to realize this universal truth embedded into human nature and behavior and emotion, that they can be unpredictable on specific situations. There are high chances that few people around us might be very much susceptible and vulnerable for stress. Lecture देना है, performance anxiety. Propose करना है, performance anxiety. Exam देना है, interview देना है, performance anxiety. Medical के कुछ काम कराने hospital जाके, again performance anxiety. There are certain peoples, and we often fail. We often fail because we always believe that if that person has performed well in so many times, he must again. But truth might be different. So please keep this thing in your mind, that people may not perform as per your understanding, because your understanding is also very limited. There are multi-layered realities in this world, and we feel so empowered and megalomantic on the basis of our very limited, trivial, temporary understanding of reality. Making sense? So, will any one of you comment on something on this and try to relate it with human emotions, human nature? We all know that solid state of atom, solidarity and solidness. Can movement be found in solid item also? Yes, sir. Yes, vibration, back and forth. You can predict the solid atom's nature to some extent. So it's true about human emotions and humans. You also can predict people's behavior largely in given context. Like, you all know that if there is someone who can help others, Mr. X, this much prediction is under your control. So there are people who are largely expected to behave in particular way because space between solid state is very less. So the people who are always guided and controlled by a specific mindset, rules and principles can be commented. But another state is liquid. This is again very much related with human nature and emotion. I will comment on this later, but I will try to discuss this gas state. Atoms and molecules are always free to fly in the way they wish. This is so about the human nature also. There are people around you would have seen that they can do anything anytime. You can bet on that. You know certain people who are very much unexpected and they can do anything, say anything and whatnot. So what would be the best model for human being? Should they try to stay in this solid state? Should they try to stay in this liquid state? I have not commented intentionally on anything on this. I wish that any one of you can come and share. And should we be like this gas? What should we be? Please, gentlemen, gentle ladies, madam and sir, please come. Say something. हमें किस तरह का होना चाहिए? तीनों तरह का होना चाहिए. अच्छा, तो एक कंडीशन बताइए जहां पे हमें गैस के जैसा होना चाहिए हमारे इमोशंस को, जो कि ग्रोथ ओरिएंटेड है, रिक्वायर्ड है. Okay, making sense, but what I mean is that in terms of your emotions and emotional display and behavior guided by emotions, do you think that if any person who is working on the model of gas in context of emotional regulation and emotional behavior is helpful to achieve the goal? One can, okay, but you also have to take consideration the context. Only then you can apply. But if you are thinking and doing things without any judgment, without any preparation, you will find that you being followed any one of this might not be goal oriented. I mean, you are not allowed to do anything just like that. Like gas, you should try to regulate your emotion within a fixed boundaries. Like liquid, you all would be aware about Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was, I mean, all you know about. But what I wish to share with you is that he used to say that, and he used to believe that we should try to be like liquid. Why? Because liquid is very much flexible in its attitude. It can get adjusted anywhere on the context. It can take the shape of a cup, balloon, bottle, or anything. So the message is on the basis of this principle that we should try to be more flexible in nature. You will see that emotional flexibility in terms of gas model is of hardly any use, largely. You will also see that emotional flexibility on the parameter of this solid state is also not all the time very much helpful to achieve what you know, because you are bounded, you are restricted all the time so heavily, like your value system, your belief system, your, morals, your models. So we should always be volatile to get adjusted and to get settled into the reality, because reality might not appreciate all the time you being in solid and you being in gas in terms of your emotional understanding. Hopefully it is making sense. Okay, anything? Yes, that's not only, sir, children. We also, you would have learned that lots of people committed suicide, had rape attempt and committed attempt of rape, and they were also found guilty of getting engaged into the rape. They were also found getting engaged into the murder. They were also found, and these are some of example I am sharing have found its place in Indian Penal Code. But there are so many other human behaviors and emotional expression which have not found any space in Indian Penal Code, and they are considered very much normal. Practice of getting corrupted. How many times we have find in society openly that these things have been appreciated? Oh, criticized. What my intention is that many of the time we human being are so volatile, so flexible, uncontrolled flexible, that we include certain of the behaviors and understanding which are of no use, but we tend to believe that these are of very useful, and these shapes our behavior. These belief system shapes our behavior. These belief system influence our cognition, and we start taking inspiration from these understanding without any boundaries. Something about the philosophical background of human nature and human behavior. So now, if my words had some impression, you can gel with this idea that in order to be in good shape, in order to be in touch with the reality, in order to be healthy in your approach, we should try to be in liquid state. Because you are all the time not out of boundaries, the space is not so heavily, uh, populated with other atoms that you don't have liberty to take breath. In terms of your emotional understanding, in terms of your emotional expression. Yes, this is what this is very important. That solid, too rigid, fixed. Your parents, teachers, friends, and what about you? You are so volatile, isn't? My dear, we also may be very much rigid in our belief system, understanding, reality, experiences, decision making, dogmatic belief, value system, and we are not aware. It is only others' eye who can see my face. So, yes, no boundary. Right. So, already has been discussed what I wanted to share with you. So, I'll not discuss this thing. Now, something more psychological, inclination, something from psychology. Please go through with this line. And tell me whether you find it okay or not. Just remember your last episode of you being disturbed. that you were disturbed because of others, or you want to change your understanding now on the basis of this information? Were you disturbed because of others, or you were disturbed because of your own ability or tendency to interpret the statement or reality? What is your say on this? Can other make us feel depressed, or we are depressed because of us? Yes. This is layman understanding that other can, make me feel sad. But what is the other more healthy approach? What is the other more adaptive approach in context of human nature? Okay, for example, you were disturbed because of teacher's statement, and you blamed that teacher that he or she said something which was against your will or against your tolerance ability. But isn't it that teacher has been or have been saying same thing for rest of the student also? But not everyone felt the same agony, same anger. Why you only felt that? So what is the reason? The reason lie behind our ability to interpret the event in a very typical, stereotypical, conservative, dogmatic, orthodox belief system. So always remember that we are not disturbed because of statement or things. We are disturbed the kind of impression we make out of those events. Had this been not true, then Arunima Sinha would not have conquered the Himalaya with only one leg. All of you know about Arunima Sinha? All of you also would be aware with so many people with only one leg. How many of them have conquered the Himalaya? Can you say that all the people who are amputated with or who are amputated conquered the world? Situation is same, condition is same, but only Arunima Sinha is known to have conquered the Himalaya with one leg, and she is not only because of having this one leg. So what I'm saying is that your interpretation of the event determine your state of mind, isn't it? Siddharth CCD Malik, CCD owner, Siddharth had huge burden and debt on its company, committed suicide. Think about the Siddharth Malia, Vijay Malia, much more heavier. But look at the courage. Look at the courage. And the story is never ending. Think about Nirav Modi, Mehul Choksi, so many notorious, and so it is only always the attitude which matters. Exactly. You are not destined to kill you. You are not destined to suffer. You are not destined to sulk. But you are empowered with certain inherent uniqueness in you, and with your sheer attitude, you will discover this attitude. Isn't it? So, dear sir, tyranny of should and must. Again, very interesting, concept in psychology. We already have discussed it, that these should and must are the harbinger of our sadness, depression, anger, anxiety, suspiciousness, and whatnot. Lots of stories are always there. You are not able to do this. I should commit suicide. Isn't it? I could not save that person. I'm not worth of living anymore. Let us jump into the sea. Commit. Let us die. So what I'm saying is that many people are ignorant of the pathological nature of these should and must, and are the strong believer that I must secure this much percentage. I must secure this status. My brother must always follow me. My parent must not have done this. And parents, my son must not have done this. And situation becomes so worse that tolerating that situation becomes unbearable, and as a defense, pathological aspect, decisions pathological, attitude pathological, belief system is pathological, only on the basis of these should and must. What is the way out then? Any idea? What is the way out? Yes, I'm asking you. Many of you would be teacher, many of you are a teacher, many of you would be going out, and you are not aware that how soon that situation will be with you. What is the way out? I'm preparing you to face the realities of the future, which are so disturbing. Might be. क्या करेंगे? Yes, please tell me. If you haven't thought about these possibilities, please do think about. Like, it is quite possible that people may not find you always welcome. It is quite possible that you, and one more thing, volatility in your attitude is very much required. Be like water. Try to get adjusted in whatever situation is. Identify the demand of the situation. Do not always, struggle to fulfill your wish. Many times you will see on the basis of your experiences that fulfilling of wish is not demanding. Rather, demanding is to cut down the fulfillment. So please be volatile, be more flexible, give more space to the other realities, sir. Other realities which are waiting for you, disturbances, and breach of trust. You will have it very soon. Within 3-4 years, all of you are studying, you will have breach of trust very soon in your relationship, in your parental relationship, in your official relationship. You will have to see it. If you are not prepared, please get ready for that. What does it mean? That you should lower down your expectation with people's. Do not think that people always will be truthful for you all the time. Nowhere it is written. God has not given you any certificate for that. And you will be disturbed because you will always be thinking that my teacher, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my father, my boss will always be faithful, fruitful, helpful. Be volatile. Give some space to your suspiciousness. Making sense? Suspiciousness means what? I'm not asking you to be paranoid. I'm only saying you give more space to that reality which you have not thought so far. People might not be helpful all the time. Whereas you have always been thinking, oh my dear friend, you are the last resort for me. And anytime I will call, you will always be available. Might not be true in future. So please, identify this tyranny. Do not give much space to this tyranny, tyranny of should and must in your mind. Beyond a certain point. Mohit sir, कितना time है हमारे पास? Okay. Okay, one more thing which is very important. Then I will give you some suggestions to manage your personal issues. I will also try to give you some suggestions to manage your romantic relationship issues and friendship relationship issues. I will also give you some suggestions to manage your official life, which will be with you after some time. What is another very important aspect over here is that it is not other. It is not other, but people contribute to their own psychological problems. Do you agree with it, sir, madam? But why have you been always thinking that it is the other who can put you in danger, depression, sadness? You have been thinking on these issues. You never have thought that you are the real cause of your problems. And we enjoy blaming others. We enjoy blaming friends, mother, father, teacher. Because of you, I could not do it. So who is right and wrong? Who is wrong? Of course, self-blame is another kind of psychopathology. They should not go beyond some range. It is only because of the self-blame that people commit suicide. We should all, that is why I'm saying, always have some suspiciousness even for your own decisions. Should not be very much adamant and thinking that what you are thinking is the ultimate truth. But it is okay that people are the real cause for their own problem. But there is hope also lying in the same thing on the basic human nature, which says that reorganization of one's self-statement will result in reorganization of one's behavior. बाहुबली, मैं मृत्यु को मारने जा रहा हूं. Earlier, what was happening? His army was being defeated. He himself got down, but somehow he reorganized his internal state of mind, and he said that मैं मृत्यु को मारने जा रहा हूं और जिसको मेरे साथ आना है. So what I'm saying is that humans always have this possibility to reorganize their state of mind, and this reorganized state of mind will reorganize your thought and decisions and behavior and emotions. And this has happened so many times. This has happened so many times. Kisan movement, 𝐬𝐞𝐜𝐫𝐬𝐨𝐧𝐬𝐡, he almost was ignored by all of his followers, but somehow he reorganized and got all of them by their side. Lots of lost battles have been won only because sheer reorganization of state of mind and reorganized behavior. Very important lines. Do not always read the science. I mean, do read science, but also try to read the science of mind. We are born with potential for both rational and irrational thinking. It is not that we will always commit mistakes. We will commit mistakes, but we will also have this opportunity to redo things. We have the biological and cultural tendency to think crookedly. By default, we are liars. By default, we are witty. By default, we are prone to commit mistakes. But humans are self-talking, self-evaluating, and self-sustaining. So these are some of the basic understanding of human nature. Again, you can ask why you are sharing this thing with us. Because always remember, whenever you are depressed, whenever people around you are disturbed, they are ignoring the basic human nature. And they are the strong believer of this fact that how can people change? And why I should not change? Many times you will see that you have a problem in changing. You have problem in changing your attitude, your behavior, your thinking pattern, because we see gratification the way we are doing things, irrespective of their nature, good or bad. I like to do things the way I prefer, but my preference might not be based on reality. My preference may be egocentric. Doing things with egocentric attitude might not give you the best result. So that is why I'm sharing this thing, because never ever think that, oh my God, I cannot do anything now. No, dear, this is not true. You always have ample opportunities. Again, same thing, almost. Yes, these are again some of the, events, conditions where you will find problems. You may have problems on your personal realm, personal platform. You may have problem with your boyfriend, girlfriend. You may have, again, it is the self. Again, it is the self. Me is having problem. Boss can be a problem. Employee can be a problem to the boss. Colleague, friend, son, daughter, husband. These would be the platform where you will find problem or you are about to find problem. Some suggestions now, practical. That was philosophical understanding. That was the theoretical understanding of human mind. Some practical suggestions for all of us. You are second to none. What does it mean? You yourself is a reality. There is no one like you in this world. Never ever forget this thing. You are not like others. Others may not like you. So always identify your own worth and potential. Many times we get swayed away by our emotions and we forget that, oh God, it is only I am the God. But this I am the God belief system should not be on megalomaniac level. I am the God means that I have potential. So always remember this thing in your life. If you are in academic, if you are about to enter into the professional field, if you are about to enter into a relationship field, you are not entirely duplicate of your boyfriend. You cannot be. You cannot always be duplicate of your girlfriend. There has to be differences. There will be differences. Mere problem is in identification of this difference. Many times we blame people, why can't you behave like me? Is it somewhere written? But we are so adamant in asking this thing. We are all the time struggling very hard to change people and we wish them to be like us. These are the problems. But always remember that you are second to none. You are what you are. No one can be like you. Respect this your being. Try to laugh when all try to laugh with all when you fail or fall. Many times it happens that when we have committed any mistake, we often prefer to stay aligned, aloof, away from society. Please do not do this. Accept your mistakes and stay with people. Don't, take the corners. Because if you are taking corner, you are thinking that you have been sent in this world always to do the right things. Is it written somewhere? Haven't we made mistakes in our life? We as a teacher, we as a student. So why we get, take corner when we make any mistakes? Stay with people. Cry with them. Cry in front of them. But never take corner. Accept that you might commit mistakes. These things, again, you can ask why I'm telling you these things from personal perspective. Because your relationships are not only with the other. You have relationship with you also. You cannot improve your relation with other if you are not improving your relation with you. In psychology, there is a very famous line that always try to see your own patienthood. How can I be patient? I'm a clinical psychologist. I have done MPhil, I have done PhD. How can I have a patient? Is this possible? Is this possible that I can have patient in me? Say yes, say yes. Yes, it is possible. Now tell me one thing. Is this possible that you have patient in you? Every one of us carry a patient in us, but we have unique tendency to always see patienthood in others. Isn't it? We never dare to see our own patienthood. But let me tell you this thing, and you know it now, that we should try to see our own patienthood. Only then we can be in better relation with us and with others. Never respect your past. What is? Yes. Never repeat your past. Never repeat your past. And you all know it. What does it mean? Learn from it. Yes, I did something wrong. I will not repeat, but I will not commit again it. Don't overestimate your caliber. Many times I tried for something desperately. I tried for something very passionately. I could not get that result. And I'm down with depression, I'm down with anxiety, I'm down with anger, I'm down with frustration. So always, like I'm saying that, try to give some space to the possibilities of you being not successful. Always have this thing in your mind that in spite of your best effort, reality might not be what you expected. This is what usually happens with most of us as a student or as an adult. So always have this understanding that do not over exaggerate your potential. Break orthodox chain. I mean, if someone has been doing this thing and you have seen it n number of times, you don't need to repeat that. Because what someone has been doing already might not be grounded on reality and, I mean, transparency and honesty. Like, for example, can treatment of epilepsy, for example, treatment of epilepsy has always been considered a matter to be taken by exorcist. But it is now, we all know that treatment of epilepsy do not lies in exorcism, but it is in the neurological spectrum, neurologist expertise. So many things you would have seen being done by your parents, your ancestors, and your elders, in your by your society members. Let's always have this doubt. Is this the only way, best way to do this thing? No, might not be. Earlier we would be using black and white phone. Now we are having this touch. So always have a possibility to bring change. Be a change. What you want to see in the society. Yes, again, second line, very important for all of us. We often ignore. Yes, I am second to none. But there are other also second to none. And they might be better second to none than you. People can be better than you. Isn't it? Many times we, like I was saying, that we have this tendency to do only those things which we have seen in our surroundings. But it is not only things which have been happening in your surroundings. Quite possible that your mind was not in touch with those things happening 400 miles away. But those things happening, those far distances were also equally right. So try to see beyond the box. Try to see beyond the stereotypical environment and be creative. It is in terms of your, for example, what can be, I mean, how can you use this line in terms of relationship management? What I'm saying is that whenever you have some problem with your known to, what kind of strategies have you seen other people being applying? And can you bring some modification in those strategies? Other people might also be equally good in managing relation, but we often fail to learn from their experiences. So have this space in you. Last line is very important for personal management. Sometimes we think that it is our responsibility to take all the burden on my shoulder and make people at ease. And the cost being paid is so heavy that we lost our own happiness. So don't, try over exaggerately try to be good with all people all the time. No, it is not really required. Often when you are more mature enough, and suppose you have been struggling to make people happy, and you have matured enough, now you have your own experiences, then you will understand, oh my God, what I did was really not needed. Things could have been managed by not doing in that way also. Because other people might not appreciate your goodness all the time. Your goodness is not, well fitted enough to meet the challenges. Learn this thing, minute thing. You are not Superman. Of course, you are second to none, but you are not Superman. It does not mean that you should not move ahead. But understand your own limits. Second line, again, see things. Many times we criticize and we complain to the God. That God we haven't seen ever. That God we have humanized. Most of us have this belief that God has hands and feet and mouth and leg and tummy and ear. Isn't it? Is this true? Manufactured God. Constructed God. God by men. Human, rather. And we complained. Why did you do it, Bhagwanji? Why did not you give me 100%? Why did not give me that job? Why you did not give me that boyfriend? From where did we get these belief that we have to complain to the God? And for these things. See it. Sorrow are inevitable. Isn't it? हम सबको जिंदगी ने कुछ चीजें बांटी. खुशियां, सक्सेस, रंग, रूप, चाहत, दुख, दर्द. हम कभी नहीं सोचते. लेकिन ये सच. कहीं भी भाग के चले जाओ. No matter where you go, how far you go, even if you are in Alaska, even if you are in other Milky Ways, and if you are there, trust me, sorrow will be there. There is no funda, no scientific principle existing so far in this world which can assure you life without having miseries. But we always complain, compare, expect, and wish a life without sorrow. No, dear, please do not expect that. Do not expect that much. These are inevitable. Blame is very much pleasure seeking, very much pleasure giving. Blame is, something interesting thing we all men or human prefer to do. Preferably when we have been a failure. Because we don't have that courage to take the responsibility and burden. Yes, I did it. I always seek excuses. Who is the, most approachable person to blame it on? Don't blame. Your blame cannot get you away from your responsibilities. Love relationship might not be you, but equally important for others. For those who are about to get into, for those who will into, and for those who were, but now are out of it. Many times we are misguided. Most of you would have seen the Pink. Amitabh Bachchan, Taapsee Pannu. No stands, no. We have this hurriedness in us. That slightest body movement, slightest eye language, slightest, pitch, tone, volume can delude us, fool us to interpret those things into yes. But always remember that do not try to misinterpret. But the problem is that there is no one around us who can remind us that I'm misinterpreting. Because these things have never been taught to our parents. And we are doing the same thing what they have done. No matter they haven't told us, but we have seen them doing this. But you have your own mind, you are second to none, always remember this thing. Do something which never have been done and it's equally important and creative and idealistic. Okay, so don't and you know all these statements I haven't formed. I have formed on the basis of my experiences with the people I have worked with. Lots of youngsters comes to me, and they often say this, sir. I went to her. I said that I like you. So I ask often, did you ask someone before saying yes to her? No, sir. Do you think that you should have discussed this thing with? Yes, sir. So many times it happened that due to our first experiences, due to our never unseen, unheard, unfelt excitement, we make mistakes to say yes to her. It should not. Give some weight and have some, watch period, observation. And you will see that you are not in loss. Those who are true will be more closer to you. Those who are of no use, you will be saved by them. So give some time to your emotions. Don't rush to say yes. You know, honesty might be exploited. If you are very true, you haven't been, in touch with other gender ever before, and you found something, be it a girl or boy, yes, he or she is the one I was looking always. And you are very true in your heart, and you just go to her or him and say yes. Often you will say that these your true confession have been destroyed very pathetically. So your honesty might not be appreciated by others. And this is stand important for youngsters because they have never seen this word before anywhere, and they are the strong believer that what you see first is to be always. Might not be. Okay. So these are some of the tips, suggestions, practice based suggestions, which you should try to keep in your mind, and you should and must also try to share with others. Many times we have this tendency to believe what people tells to us, and this again happens with the youngsters. Girl comes, boys come, share things with each other, don't know what they tell to each other, but they have this uniqueness to believe what they have been told, and taking decision on the basis of what you have been informed often might not be very much growth oriented. So again they fail. They feel problems, they are broken, they are shattered, their emotions are shattered. It only happens because you hurried, you trusted very easily. Again, this happens with youngsters who comes in first years, who have just cleared their 12th and have now started meeting with the opposite gender. So they always have this belief, this is important in terms of girls, that whenever they met any boy, they have this unique tendency or unique intrinsic behavior, that they are a strong believer of this fact that this boy is going to stay with me forever. But what about the boy? This girl might not have been the first in his life, but this poor girl was so honest, so truthful, considered that boy as her one and final. Parents never tell this thing to their daughters. Brother and sister never tell this thing to their daughters who are going. And let me tell you one more thing. The girls who are very much academically oriented are the one who are destroyed more in this aspect. because they're uniquely being good in academics. They were never in touch with boys. And whenever they are in graduation, the kind of image they have this scene in this boy, they keep in their mind forever. So please share this thing. Educate your young generation. बहुत सारे जो गर्ल्स है उनको कई बार हिस्टीरिया एक साइकोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम होती है. ट्रांस एंड पोजीशन डिसऑर्डर, हिस्टीरिया, कन्वर्जन डिसऑर्डर, इस तरह की प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है बिकॉज द काइंड ऑफ रियलिटी दे हैड इन देयर माइंड has been destroyed brutally by these people in her recently entered world. So they are not that much powerful enough to hold this bitter reality anymore consciously. So they convert into some psychopathology. And the results are really difficult, disturbing. I mean, again, self-esteem must not be given preference over your love. Because then you lose your identity. Many times it happens. हमने तुम्हारे लिए क्या क्या कर डाला, तुमने कभी ध्यान नहीं दिया. हमने नॉनवेज खाना शुरू कर दिया. हमने मंदिर जाना शुरू कर दिया. तुम्हें लगता था तुम ऐसा करके उसको इंप्रेस कर लोगे. हुआ क्या? So they do not change you and others, but try to gel with, which happens very rarely. Those who try to gel are the most successful couples. But most of the time it happens that after some time, for almost after 6 months or 1 year, the situation is that everyone is trying to change everyone. Lots of expectations, lots of expectations and wishes from others. Do not ask your partner to prove him or her often. तुम मुझे प्यार नहीं करते, प्रूफ करो. कैसे कैसे प्रूफ करना पड़ता है हम सब लोग जानते हैं, लेकिन ये प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है. उसके बाद क्या होता है, रिश्तों की जो गरिमा है, रिश्तों का जो भाव है, रिश्तों का जो अपनापन है, वो खत्म हो जाता है. प्लीज do not always be able to prove your feelings for others, and do not let it happen for that person also. Convey the message very clear. But again, you know what, I was earlier also suggesting this thing, that we can be a good professor, we can be a good doctor, we can be a good engineer or what, so not, but these teachings which are the pillar of your future life are rarely discussed anywhere, from no angle of the life. Never rarely any teacher discuss these things. Rarely parents never ever discuss these things, because they are this again the deluded parents, that they have given shelter, they have given the food, they have given the other things, they are the best parents. But you all can, on the basis of your experiences, that giving shelter, food, name, identity and medical are not sufficient enough to make you a functional being. But there are certain realities in our mind which equally expect the listening ears. Again, same thing. So we have already discussed these things. Many times, you know what happens, that suppose our proposal has been accepted, we become hypomanic, we become manic, and we are so much rushed with enthusiasm and optimism that we usually try to cross our boundaries. Again, situation gets worse if you are doing this thing, or you have this understanding that very easily you can do so many things. No. Try to identify the uniqueness of your person, partner. Evaluate. Always. Last line is very important. No one have been taught to share this thing in relationship to the partner. Yes, I had one in past also. Not as, I mean, these things are happening, but even still very rare. So, but you have, or we as a people have this belief that person should be fresh. It's only the vegetable, even vegetables are not fresh. You are talking about the relations. Please think about it. Something about office adjustment, because soon you will be entering into your professional life and many of you would be in your professional life. Again, these experiences are on the basis of our practical work I have done with my clients in my past. And IITians are the great source of my these experiences, because my earlier clients have been from IITs, different IITs. So the uniqueness of what I have observed in IITians is that they are very much academically bright. We all know it. But often there is a problem with the people who are academically very bright. They often ignore the practical understanding, which is very much important for to adjust with the realities, to people, with self. Because always remember that you're securing 95%, 99% will really not be very much helpful to you to adjust you with the realities, with people's managed relationship. And this is the issue of what I have seen. I'm not saying all the IITians, but few of, I mean, few of the medical students, few of the IITians, few of the, I mean, those who are IS or PCS, I have seen this. Always remember, when you are in office, try to be an asset, not a burden. Because it has been seen that burden are always rejected, not to appreciated, and burdens are always given second place. So always remember. But again, what I'm saying, this thing is identification and understanding of whether you are asset or burden is again, I mean, experiential kind of thing. Be a problem solver, not a creator. And in office, you are not known or appreciated because you are a problem creator. But only those people have high image or reputation who are problem solver. Boss may not like and understand your creative and unique working style. I had one client from IIT who was working in San Francisco. Very creative person, very orderly, very, I mean, idealistic kind of person. I mean, it was really nice talking and listening him. But he was not aware what kind of stuff boss is going to appreciate. In his usual flow and manner of his being honest, he used to say things which boss could not understand and boss could not justify. So having this information in your professional life is also very important to identify what kind of things boss is going to appreciate. You don't have to rush, always impose your views and understanding over exaggerating. Try to read the mindset of your boss. Try to fit into boss expectations, because I mean, if you are I mean, daring enough, but even then it is not going to give you any, I mean, good result. But always try to fulfill the expectation of boss. But again, there is a reality that quite often boss might not expect you to do always say or do good things. But again, you will have to learn that art to make an adjustment between your expectation and boss desires and wish. When we are, I mean, novice in the professional field, it happens very obvious because of our past experience that we always try to rush to show our creativity without even invitation, without even giving an, I mean, Yes. So often this your inherent and unique behavior becomes a problem. Because again, I'm saying your creativity might not be expected always in your offices. Achievement of target is more important. And in order to achieve the target, you need to be more dynamic rather than being creative. Many times you as a novice or as a spontaneous person can crack joke in your offices. But sooner or later, you will realize that jokes are always not to be welcome, not to be invited. People are not appreciating. So we also have to understand this our behavior if when we are in offices. Okay. So I mean these are some of the experiences which I have obtained after me working with my clients. So these can help you out to enter into the professional world with a slightly more empowered state of mind, more empowered emotional abilities and other things. Mohit sir, can we play one video on this via YouTube? Is it possible? If it is so easy, then we can go ahead. Otherwise, it is not needed. Just so I just wanted to let you see one video, which would have been very much helpful to understand you the minute of aspect of the reality of the individual. But right now it is I just skipped the name. I'm not able to remember it. But what I'm saying is that your basic understanding may not always be helpful to adjust you with the realities, and that is why you now know the role of quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics is far way refined version of basic science, basic physics. And because of this quantum understanding, quantum physics, we are able to do things which were really not possible almost 10 or 15 years back. So what I'm saying is that your understanding should also not be based on your layman approach. You need to have that state of mind. You need to have that refined improved state of mind through which you can see the reality multi-layered. That is why I'm saying that basic understanding of science, basic understanding of physics can help us to understand the human nature, and not only the human nature, human emotions, unpredictable behavior of people and unpredictable behavior of us can easily be understood and accepted if we are just following the basic science. But mixture of this basic science, mixture of this human emotion can only be possible if we have metacognitive ability in us. Metacognitive ability is nothing but our specific kind of tendency to look beyond what is observable. For example, you are sitting in this room and now you can understand and identify that so many things have happened in this room. Light is on, fan is on, AC is on, there are curtains, there is color on the walls, there is written exit in the walls, but you would not have realized this thing before. But having this information all together in your mind may make you more empowered, more creative, more, I mean, alarmed and evolved. So metacognitive ability is helpful for us to organize the different aspect of reality which was there and we were not aware. Yes, this is the video. Can you play it now? So By this video, yes. My attempt and intention is to let you feel the multi-layered aspect of the reality. And these realities often have been ignored by our cognitions because we are so tuned to get settled with only what we can see with our senses. And let me tell you that reality is beyond our senses. Our eye, touch, smell, olfactory sense modalities are not only the way to see the realities. It is the metacognitive ability of the individual which help us to see the larger aspect of the reality. We are not only flesh and blood, and we are also atoms. And this atom is only not the part of this cosmos. This atom is equally part of the cosmos as well as us. So what we are? Cosmos, atom, or human being, or like both. Let us try to see this picture and see what we are. Also try to read the description given down the lines. So I will not ask you what you have seen. I will not ask you what you have understood. Because there are certain questions whose answers are not needed to give even there and then and there. There are certain things which are only to be experienced. Quite possible that the understanding you have generated after watching this needs to stay with you. If you are really willing, you can share your experiences. Okay. With this, I rest my case. Thank you very much. I hope that this information would help you all to see yourself better and others more crystal clear than before. Thank you very much. And if there are any questions, rather understanding, sharing issues, your experiences, I encourage you to please come forward. Let's say something.
I have two questions.
Yeah.
Sir, first question, what is the difference between I, me, and self? And second question, we always hear about not expect from others. But the question is how we cannot expect from others. Is there something more?
Okay. I, me, and self. These words are highly metacognitive in nature. Better your question can be answered with this video. Okay, where can you say that you are atom? Can you say that you are cosmos? Can you say that you are I? This I. Can you say that you are a body? Is that? Theoretical explanation of these words might confuse you, but experiential understanding will help you out that you are none other than the amalgam of this entire cosmos, where you are part of this world